And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Midnight Garden stream. Coming to you from the spaceship studios from a galaxy far, far away. We are observing the moon while we talk about a variety of different things. Alright, so, I like to see this moon as it peeks through these trees. Hey, Carlos, great to see you. It's great to see you, as always. And hello, Lemon. Yeah, and this is some of our, our garden streams of the moon. So right now what we're doing is we are observing the moon and, talking about different things. And I'm doing fine. I had a good, this was a stream earlier about the trials. Earlier, what happened was they're going to go a trial tomorrow, so there's going to be more of them. Oh, thank you, Carlos, for the gifted membership. It's very cool. Thank you. So yeah, everything's going fine on my end, just doing my own usual things. Yeah, so this reminds me of a time where one of my friends. Yes, absolutely. As I know the garden streams have been not as the times they usually were in the past. So yeah, it's nice to go this one of the more traditional garden streams, more traditional schedule. So let's see going through the trees, because I think we'll go through the trees and look at this moon like we did before. Yeah, because that's how we would used to view it in the past. Yeah, right there. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, you see, there are all kinds of different, cryptids out there that we have talked about before. And now, for those that don't know, we are having some different alien files that are coming out. And they've approved of the alleged biologics being released from them. Now, I don't know if we're ever going to really get the truth about the alien files. But what happens is they're going to maybe put some breadcrumbs in there of some things that are worthwhile, but I don't really know what they're going to really show, because I just feel that they will not, for various reasons. Either they don't have the information because it's hidden somewhere, or they have the information that's going to be intentionally hidden about the alien stuff. Yeah, but sightings are increasing all over the world, and that is something very true about the aliens and about the different abnormal sightings. So they are being seen, whatever they are. And there are theories that the cameras sometimes intentionally glitch, so people do not see the actual aliens that are there, to make it less believable. Some people think that the cameras were intentionally programmed like that to begin with. Other people believe that, maybe the entity itself is causing it to go blurry, because they've upgraded them in 4K before. Also, there's images of UFOs and aliens themselves, and when they're upgraded, they seem like they resemble the different alien creatures that we, know about. Yep. So that's why I do think that the enhancement of the images are very important to have. Yeah. So a lot of times the alien sightings will happen when they happen in cities, but most of the time I think they do like to appear more in country areas or more rural areas than they do in other regions of the world. So I think that's another factor too. All right, and Lemon says, "Oh wait, I remember something yesterday. Someone took a fat dookie in the bathroom at work and didn't flush." Oh, yeah. You see, especially if the sewage is not good, it's not going to work out too well. So they have to make sure everything's working right, because some of these places either are old or they're run down and not going to work properly. But yeah, Lemon, even over here, things like that can happen too. And so there's this incident in Brazil of something happening where the mad pooper from elementary return. Oh, okay. I remember that story. It looks like he came back for round 2, it seems. Yeah. Yeah. So, and like, for instance, like right here, it's pretty secluded in this region right here. And, that's where you get a lot of these haunting stories of, like a Mothman flying in that tree or some sort of extraterrestrial of some kind. That is something I believe is quite of a fascination to me. Because you're interested in alien news. You see, a lot of people are disappointed with the alien files. I personally do think there are some, acknowledgement at least that there's something strange going on out there. Like, a lot of these UFO files talk about people's encounters that they have had with them, and they do show some vague UFO dots flying around. It's not too much, but it's something. But people thought there would be more information about it than there were. Oh, hello there, Sawgrower. Welcome to our stream. A good evening, Chris Berry. Yeah, so hopefully with the alien files, eventually they could release more information that is more groundbreaking. Now, I was reading last time in the alien files that we had is that the Americans were intentionally, according to the Australian intelligence, the Americans were intentionally creating a shadow campaign to stop the knowledge of aliens from being known. And they may at one time thought it was the Russians doing it, or they thought it would cause global panic, so they were going to downplay it. Now, that was pretty groundbreaking because that proves that the alien information has been biasly been compromised. So yeah, there is a new batch coming out of the alien information, of the alien files. We'll see if they show any biologics, if any bodies are shown, because they supposedly have bodies and they've given immunity to people that have seen the bodies or know where they are. So allegedly, according to that, they should be able to step forward without any kind of legal issues. But yeah, there is apparently alien body biologics and aircraft that they had too. And in Brazil, there has been videos. There's a video of a strange creature that was seen kind of huddled in the ground. And it almost looks like a cryptid of some kind. But it basically looks like a gray alien with like big red eyes. So that is what people are seeing, and that's what they saw down there. And people in different parts of the world are seeing the same thing. So yeah, there is confirmation about that sighting being true. Now, other nations in the world, other countries in Russia and Japan, etc., they're doing their own UFO research release. So I do believe it is, good that, there's more information, more interest in it than before. Some theories suggest that it's possible that... Oh, glad you like the moonlight. Some theories actually suggest that you got. Oh yeah, glad you like the moonlight. The moonlight. Glad you like it. Let's see what this is. I'm hearing some noises. I'm hearing some noises. Scared. Let's see if something comes out of us. Scared. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what we're going to see or not. But yeah, that is something moving around in trees. Let's see. Okay, so there are critters lurking around here somewhere, and I hear them, and we'll see if we could see any, because this is a much better view, because it is so dense in the other region. It would be a little bit difficult to see everything. Okay, so far everything is being a little bit quiet, a little bit too quiet. All right. So now going over this way. There was tons of dragonflies in there. Yeah, crikey. There were tons of dragonflies in there that were with us. You know, in that pathway, there are lots of dragonflies chilling, and they're attracted to this light. And hello there, Carlos. And they like to freak out because these lights do all kinds of things to the psyche of an insect. It makes them, you know, it's like some LSD to them. They start tripping. Okay, so yeah, so the UFO files so far have contained things about UFO sightings from all over the place. But, you know, no concrete things we would really like to see, though. Which is, you know, hopefully over time they show even more stuff, but we'll see what they do. All right, Lemon, why do they do that? Yeah, and there are some people telling me about how they were seeing different types of cryptids in their respective regions, which I believe resemble more of a plasmoid. Because a lot of times these people will see, as I know why they do it. I know why they do it, Lemon. The reason why the bugs do it, let's see, supposedly they turn their backs to the sun and they confuse artificial lighting for the sun, moon, and they get stuck in a loop spinning around the light. Ah, okay. It messes with their sensors and they think that it's daytime. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's almost like programming a robot. And the manipulation, it just shows our advanced technology and the effects that it has on the wildlife around us. Because Think about it, how our little lights in our phone are the bigger lights, can make these bugs go insane and start doing kinds of backflips and stuff. So, yeah, they may think that it's daytime. That may be a reason why they do what they do. Carlos said, I've heard LED lights bother insects significantly less, which is cool. Oh, yeah. That is very cool that it bothers them less, because it's almost like they have some sort of immunity to it more than we do. And the technology that we have apparently does come from some aliens, apparently. That's another possibility, that the aliens themselves had different crashes and things like that. And over time, we got their technology. And that's what we have today. So imagine like what the type of things aliens would have with their type of lightings. I'm sure that they would really make different wildlife act a certain way, and almost in a mesmerizing sense. And there are lots of regions of the world that have never had contact with humans before. And those people really would think we're the aliens to them. That is something that I think is quite interesting, is that they really just don't know like what we are exactly, because we've sent drones and things out there and they try to throw spears at them. So a civilization with very advanced technology will appear like aliens to them. I'm sure they have many stories to tell in different mythologies and things. And it's crazy to think about that we do live in a world where there are some people that never had contact with humans before. Yes, that is true, Lemon. Yeah. Yeah, there's some parts of the world, in different parts of South America and different islands, that have had no contact with people. Chris says, and those aliens got their tech from even more advanced aliens. Yeah. It's a loop cycle, where it could be a loop cycle where one civilization got technology from the other. And there's always an advanced civilization of different aliens that are out there who help the other. So, and then they go and adapt it over time. So that would just be a chain cycle of a variety of different things happening at once. Yeah, and The idea of aliens being more advanced than us may cause fear in the governments and the people. Because if the aliens have more technology and are better than us in all kinds of different things, then they can do things that we can't really do. Yeah, that was a choo-choo in the background, very distantly. It was a very quick little noise. It wasn't too long-winded. Do you think that aliens look human, humanoid, or do you think that more exotic, bizarre, like the example of Rocky from Project Hail Mary? I believe that both are true. I believe there are humanoid-looking ones and also bizarre concepts. And some of the aliens may be so out there that maybe they may communicate with us and we don't really understand it or comprehend it. You know, like a plasmoid, for instance, which seems to resemble an angelic being. You know, that we don't really understand what that is, and that's an abstract type of UFO alien thing. And I do believe there's other ones that are more exotic looking, and then you have some that are humanoid like us. So it's a combination of things. Sounds like Mr. Mockingbird's in a distance. To me, they look extremely different from life here on Earth, since they face different conditions from Earth, causing them to evolve in different ways. Yeah. Now, I do think it's possible that they can shapeshift or appear similar to us so we can understand them better, but I'm very certain that they probably will look very different than what we do. Now, like, for instance, a lot of these aliens that allegedly are the ones that they're out there, you know, they may resemble us because they're shape-shifting into things that look like us, but they don't really look like us. So that's another possibility. Like, their form here is like an avatar. It's not actual reality of what really is. So that's another thing that could be. Chris says, can't assume they would be a similar size as us. Could be the size of an ant, for example. Yeah, I mean, they could be size of an ant, or they could be as big as that tree right here. And maybe that's why on some other planets, when we go and look for them, they're not there because they're just very small. So yeah, that is another possibility. Or there might be like vapor, or it might be a thing with multiple eyes, or they may have no eyes at all. You know, however the planet they came from, they would have adapted to, they would look kind of different. And I'm sure that they have their own lore and their own type of laws of physics. You know, in some parts of the galaxy, they may have things that defy the laws of physics. Lowen said when humankind achieve interstellar travel, we'll finally see some aliens. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe that, you know, the Greys and these other alien sightings that have happened here are them, or it's possible they might be other entities like fallen angels or some sort of interdimensional being. But, you know, there are the recorded ones that we know about. Now, I don't know, as I said, if those that we see are shape-shifting from some other type of form, which is a possibility. Or they have their technology and it's antimatter technology that they don't want us to know about. You know, all those are possibilities of what could possibly be going on here. So yeah, very good point, Lemon. In a few hundred years from now, we'll be able to achieve interstellar travel. Chris says, what do you think of the Voyager probes with direct aliens to us, and this is a bad thing? Okay, so I believe those alien probes, or what you call the Voyager probes, I believe that they're very mysterious. I think that they probably are some type of either a very, very old interstellar objects from spaceships that either don't work anymore, were abandoned, or they work and they're just been out there for so long they just became the way they looked. They could be a threat to humans. So far, no, but they could, I would say they're not necessarily bad, but they need to have be on the radar because they could potentially be something not good. But we don't really know for sure at the moment. But that's going to be in the far future, like you said, except if scientists around the world, high-tech, deep space engines. Yeah. Now, I think we already are being visited by aliens for thousands of years already. I do believe the sightings that people have seen have definitely seen them here. We've not been to their world, but they've seen like they've been to ours. That's what I do think, that people are seeing something that is either from this world or from another world that visits us from somewhere. The Passion and I were on the stream one time, and we were trying to estimate how long it would take for them to do the interstellar travel. And if they don't already have the technology that they're hiding, it would take about 500 years from now, or 300 years, for them to go interstellar and see different planets. Because there's an issue with antimatter. There's issues with where if you send someone into space, they come back on Earth, everybody will age a certain way, but they will stay the same age. There's ways of making, say, traveling to the star system of Sirius, take a couple of weeks, rather than centuries or years. So they definitely have to improve the technology for them to be able to come in that way, come in more of a sooner manner. Hey, Carlos, we saw him a couple of streams ago, and for a moment, and we have not seen him in a while. So, yeah, hope everything's okay with him, but we've not really seen him, no. Exactly, that's one of the issues with interstellar travel, and they would have to have fuel and food and all kinds of stuff for a while, and something breaks out there, it's not going to be as easy as going to the O'Reilly's Auto Parts or something to fix it. I wonder what that humming is. I hear a humming in the distance. I don't really know what it is. I mean, okay, and Lemon says, and nothing can go faster than light, so even with the antimatter-fueled engines can't reach almost all the stars in the Milky Way. Exotic matter is different situation. Oh, yeah, that's absolutely different situation indeed, because the idea, the theory is to not go the speed of light, but to glide on the speed of light. Kind of like a ship sailing on the seas. So that is something I learned about, was to kind of glide past the speed of light, glide on it like a ship on the sea. It just sounds pretty cool. If something goes faster than the speed of light, it's basically an impossibility in a way. Yes, the moon. Yeah, the moon. It's not full. It looks full, but it's not really completely full. It has a part of it that is a little bit cut off there. But yeah. The ambient moon is definitely glowing all over us, indeed. The people that would turn to werewolves, they would turn to werewolves during the moon like this, and they would be, for instance, let's see. Managed to create an Alcrevia drive. It can basically go everywhere. Oh, I've seen that too. And that apparently has to do with Planet 10. Or that's what we thought when we were growing up. That's what it had to do with. So, yeah, that's cool that you're still seeing that. You were still seeing that. Let's see. All right, it's a speculative. Okay, you saw. It's a speculative, theoretical concept proposed by the physicist Miguel in 1994, which the name Alcabre. It suggests that the spacecraft could achieve faster than light fuel and travel space-time, contracting space in front of the craft and expanding beyond the creation of localized warp bubbles that surface across the universe. And you would need exotic matter, etc., for it to work. Like we're talking about exotic matter and an object gliding through the universe, rather than going the speed of light, it kind of it goes and glides the speed of light. There was a circle halo around the sun, yeah, because there is something else out there that we cannot completely see. I'm not always too sure what they are, but they are there. And Bubbles and Claude must be on their hunts right now. Truly is a fascination. So yeah. Now, encryptids are things that exist in this world that are very hard to explain, and I mean, they're overall just undiscovered species. There are so many species that people thought were myths, but they actually were real. And when people, like a platypus was thought to be fake, and gorillas were thought to be fake too, and I think giraffes as well. So, because people were seeing these exotic things in different parts of the world, and they didn't, they thought they were just legends, but they actually were real. So that's why I believe the cryptids that we people see now are real things, either animals or humanoids or whatever that live in this world that we're not, we didn't discover. The cool thing is to think about that we didn't discover everything. It adds a more of an adventure to it. That there's more to be discovered that we've not seen yet. And a lot of times these cryptids will consume and eat things in a different manner than like the chupacabra. A lot of people think it's like a demonic thing. It eats goats and stuff like that. And that's not good. It kind of reminds me so much to the aliens, because the aliens are known for drinking the blood of different creatures, like farm animals and stuff. I don't know if they really drink it. They use it for something. So sometimes there's correlations between the different cryptids and aliens. Carlos says, maybe start the next stream with the cam facing you. It upsets me the algorithm is nerfing you. Yeah, I don't know. That's very nice of you, Carlos. It just, it is. Oh, you're making toast. Yeah, it's just something that we've always done the garden streams the same way. And I believe over time, it will do what it did before. But yeah, thank you for the suggestions. Yeah, and this is a pretty cool scene of the swamp. Where it's kind of a spooky, swampy scene. The way the trees are and, the greenery. Right here. And yeah, I mean, it is certainly a perfect setting for, a ghost type situation to happen. Or the Mothman type cryptids to take place. Okay, and scared. So you talk about one of these things. Oh, that is a delicious. You're doing toast. Oh, you're getting munchies. There's the Dover. Okay, say. Good evening, Frosty. Hello, Lori. I hear Mr. Mockingbird way in the distance. He's out in the distance somewhere, behind me. He's staying up all night. It's not a full moon, but it's an almost full moon. It's a full moon with some cheese shaved off of it. There's something called a Dover demon, and it's a slender, large-headed humanoid with glowing eyes and set in Dover, Massachusetts. Something called Champy, a serpentine lake monster residing in Lake Chapman, bordering New York and Vermont. There's the Oogopogo, large aquatic serpent. There's the Bunyip, a terrifying creature from the Australian Aboriginal mythology that lurks in the swamps. So there's all kinds of these different serpent-type creatures and, other types of things in these jungles. And they possess a supernatural power. Oh, yeah, Carlos the number one Oogopogo. Yeah. They have these supernatural powers that supernatural in the sense that it looks very like a mutated creature. That's funny, Lori. He does, yeah. And it's also very mutated the way that these creatures look, and they have powerful appearances and features to them that people might think is something else entirely. Yeah. Yes, I've heard of Operation Mockingbird. Absolutely. I don't know everything about it, but definitely have heard it referenced a lot. Yeah. All right. It's an alleged secret campaign from the Cold War era designed to manipulate domestic foreign news and media for propaganda purposes. And the debate scales from the program often distinguish between specific wiretapping and project from the conspiracies. It was during the Cold War in the beginning. It was sought to counter the propaganda of Russia. Head of the official policy coordination organization, to covertly plant stories in the media about outlets to support American interest. Just to shape the public narrative. And the name Mockingbird specifically traces back to the wiretapping operations and finding government leaks and things of that nature. Oh wow, trippy. I think that it still goes on, like how our brain was pushed with so much to keep people and less intelligent, easier to control. Oh yeah, I believe it's still going on. I think it's in full effect. It's also it's the same thing with Project MK Ultra. You know, that's also another thing that they're doing too. A lot of these secret government programs are out there, and they're put there to counter the Soviets and the Russians, right? But then after that was over with, they turned it on the American people and people that had, you know, disdain for this or that. So it was used as a propaganda tool and excuse. You know, and although people don't like Russia now, it's Russia is the not the Soviet Union anymore. So, you know, there's no need to use it. But yeah, I think they use an American people, and that's why they have dumbed down media. Chris says my hometown in Kelowna, British Columbia, where the Ooga Pooga is from, but now I never saw it. Oh, yeah. Um, yeah, some people see it, and it's something that's kind of like a more of a rare occurrence. And some people will, you know, will have those encounters. You know, it does depend on those various different things. Yeah, so it's probably something people don't want to encounter. There are people that have seen it. Oh, that's good. You got to eat your toast. That's good. He's in Vancouver. Okay. Yeah, it looks like a dragon. It's basically like a thing like Loch Ness or some sort of sea serpent. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, definitely, Carlos. All right, I'll show you something right here. Let's see. Okay, right here is the Ugapogo. The Ugapogo, allegedly. Right there. It could be fake. But yeah, definitely. I do agree, Chris. It's nuts, but awesome. Yeah. There was a video recently, and it's the most promising footage I've ever seen. Yeah. And it's good if people are able to capture the actual footage of the thing happening. That would be very cool. And I'm glad that they have caught footage of it. Hopefully it's real, because sometimes it's not real. So that would be really cool to have. Yeah, I do game. I just haven't really done it in a long time. I do that pirate game. I've not done it in a long time, but that's the one I've been doing on the channel. Is the pirate game, but I've not done that one in a while. Cats are out hunting right now. Oh, nice. I'm hyped for GTA 6 later this year. Takes place in Florida. Oh, I love GTA. I'm excited for GTA 6 too, as well. Yeah, GTA is a really cool game to play, and I remember the last one. I used to play it at my friend's house during the sleepovers, and I used to go to town on that game. Very cool, very cool. I would go and get chased by the cops and destroy everything pretty much, and also go on the different quests too. And it's nice that now they're going to be coming out with the new one. They make a lot of memes about it. on the internet, which I think is cool. That's cool. I didn't. Yeah, GTA 5. Yeah. Yeah, I used to. I don't. I know there's different types of flying things you'd use. I used to fly the helicopters. But that's pretty cool that people thought they were able to do that. Yeah, the UFO, that is cool. You had access to that. I wasn't aware of it, but that sounds very fun. Indeed, I'm sure people were freaking out. And yeah, I remember there was a Lamar roasting Franklin. That became an internet meme everywhere. They've made all kinds of different variations of that. And remember, there was like that creepy guy and the other characters, and then you just go and just destroy everything. It's a and they try to catch you, but they don't exactly get it. And then you can go to different places. So with GTA, I think it is a very cool game, and I played a couple different versions of it. The first four I've played different ones. I remember there was like a bomb you can put and throw it around a city. I thought that was kind of that was interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, because that is how you got that done, and that's cool. You're able to do that, and you're able to get those different hacks in there. And for those that are listening, the hacks mean like a life hack to doing something to improve it. Yeah, and a lot of people believe GTA 5 should have been released already, but it wasn't released as soon as people had thought it was. One of my friends jailbroke an iPhone and he was able to do all kinds of stuff with it. I thought that was pretty cool. It may have been an iPod. But yeah, he did it. Yeah, yeah. I like PlayStation specifically. And I could do a gaming streams about GTA. That'd be cool. And y'all could watch me. We could go in there together and have a cool time. Yeah. The PlayStation to me is sentimental. Because I remember a lot of times with my companions, I would The sleepovers I would do, it would be when I would hang out with my friends. The PlayStation was the one that was used. Oh, okay, Lemon, understood. Yeah, so this is what happened with the Xbox. The Xbox was good. I liked it. It's just at some point it broke, and I didn't really exactly get it repaired. So, and the PlayStation was used. And I like the Call of Duty zombie game. That was really good. I mean, the suspense in that game is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, and the GTA train would be cool to hop on. So yes, I like both PlayStation and Xbox. Both are good, and I like them. But the PlayStation, remember, we would charge stuff. You could use it as a port to charge stuff in. You can watch things in it. It could, remember the older one. It could be used like a DVD player. So yeah, it's the PlayStation is my lenient more favorite. Yeah. But yeah, definitely when GTA 6 comes out, that'd be cool to do it. And as I said, I'm sure the chat and the different YouTube groups would like to see that. Some of the gaming streams. I think with life in general, like there's ups and downs. So, even if not everybody's here right now, I am very much enjoying the stream with y'all. And, we'll have other streams where we'll have the usual audience that we have, because we usually attract quite a few people. And yeah, it's pretty cool to do. Oh, Miss C, Judy, welcome to the Garden, the nighttime Garden Live play station. Yeah, exactly. I remember those commercials. Yeah, good to see you. All right, I DoorDashed a friend I met online a PS5. Now they rent a room for me. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, to meet a friend online and meet in person is cool, because I always, intend to do that with different people I know from YouTube. It'd be cool to meet up one day. Oh, Lemon, we're talking about PlayStation and Xbox. That's what we're talking about right now. We're just like talking about video games and life experience and like nostalgia. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah, so yeah, that is very cool, Carlos, and it's also nice meeting people online in person. Yeah, I think the PS5 is very cool looking. It seems that it's white now, and it looks very mechanical, and like modern. Yeah. We're also talking about the Ooga Booga. It's this type of dragon that exists underwater, allegedly in British Columbia. Oh yeah, we go look at the garden right now. Yeah, like right there, it's growing something. Right there. It's growing a squash. Yeah, so the squash and the pumpkins are growing. And these okra plants have been growing a lot of things. I've been harvesting okra from these okra plants, and they're very delicious. And look at this, chat. Look at that. That one's about to flower. See, that's an okra that's about to flower right there. That's really cool. And in here we have other okra that is, flowered and is developing. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. Right here is the tomatoes. Yeah, it's pollinated. Yeah, so the way it works is when the okra flowers, that's when it's pretty much ready. And then it develops over time. Yeah, so I have been harvesting okra so far. And these are the tomato plants, and they are growing, and taking their time. They have not produced anything just yet. And these root plants are growing pretty fast right there. And there is a grasshopper of some kind right there that is just hanging out there in the garden. Like it's like a lurker. Okay. And doing the usual, there's lots of weeds here and you're kind of weeding things out. Yep. So that is the garden update. Is that, the pumpkins and the squash are still developing and they're getting really big. But it's going to take some time for those to completely develop. And definitely the bug nets are used for those pumpkins and things because a lot of critters like to try to get in them. Not just, you know, bugs, but also little woodland things around here try to eat them. Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a grasshopper. Okay, so yeah, it is kind of hard to see. Let's see. All right, that's it very close. Let's do it a little bit like this. Yeah, I thought they were the same too. I'm assuming one's bigger than the other, but I'm just taking an educated guess. Oh yeah, absolutely saw, definitely. Oh, absolutely, Lemon. I've had to deal with those quite often. That's, I'd say water and soap are effective with that. You know, we get quite a few pests here that are cringe. Yeah, we have caterpillars and worms and stink bugs and things like that. Yeah. There's natural ways of repelling them and poisons and stuff to use too. Yeah, of course. Lemon. Yeah. You know, it's important to with the bugs to deal with them because they like to try to destroy the crops and stuff. Thank you, Carlos. Oh, thank you, Saul. Thank you. If I ever see a ladybug for sale in person, definitely going to buy and release in my backyard. I don't like alphoids. Oh yeah, we have ladybugs here, and they're very good at catching those things. You know, a lot of people catch those ladybugs and have them out in their yards to protect them from those pests. Good idea. Some other parts of the garden over here. Here's a big pumpkin plant. I really like it. It's really cool. And whenever it's ready to produce some pumpkins, we'll look at it. And these are the elephant ear plants that are for ornamental purposes, and they are getting pretty big. Okay, so yeah, we have also these elephant ears that are getting really, these are getting really, really big, which is nice. So all that rain is good for these plants, and they're making them more luscious and big for us to have. Okay, and let's go this way. Let's see. Yeah, we do have months where it rains a lot. And although I'm not completely familiar with them, I we do have times of year when it gets very very rainy for long periods of time, and we're kind of like in a season like that. Well, we have sound now. There was no sound for a second actually, but now there's sound back. So yeah, with monsoon season, which we have seasons where it gets very rainy, and we're in one of those seasons now. Like that's why when doing the garden lives, I don't always. I didn't come out here because of the rain. That was because of it was like a monsoon cycle. Now it does get dry here, but it's very rare. It'll be like we had a season of it being extremely dry, and all the grass died. It was a couple of years ago. We had a drought, but it's rare. We usually have lots and lots of rain, but not as much in recent years. There's a time, there's a season where it could be so temperate. I mean, like, weather is not as cold, and these elephant ear plants will grow to the sky. Like, they'll grow, way up past that. So, there are seasons where it's not as when it's more warm in the winter, which not been recently. Recently, winters have been very cold, and these things will get very, very big. That was like an earlier 2020s, but they were growing consistently from like 2017 and 18. It was more mild winters, but now the winters are back to being cold. So yeah, we do have seasons like that, cycles like that. Saw that you're speaking of, yeah. Oh, okay. Look who it is. It's Claude, right here. Hello, Claude. Good. He is guarding the garden. It's great to see him. Oh, I agree, Saw. They both cleanse the earth. That is true. It also snows here on a very rare occasion. Yeah, Claude, sir, it's past your bedtime. But he is out here hunting and guarding the garden. Yes, I blocked him from the channel. He was he wasn't listening, and because when he was in the trial streams, he would not listen, and he was being kind of a smart aleck about it, and a lot of that stuff is not for kids, really anyway. And like Noah is good, he listens, so I just don't tolerate the nonsense. You could say your thoughts about it if you had thoughts about it, but yeah, I block. He can't like chat here. Yeah, and now he's sitting in his little chair. Right, right. Thank you, Saul. Under certain circumstances, I do ban and block people, and it's not out of like malice or anything. It's just strategic for myself and everybody else. Yeah. So I do it at times when I feel it's necessary. Not everyone always agrees with me when I do it, but I do think it's necessary at times. Because I don't. Now, some people can be some people can act a fool, and then they, in the final moments, yeah, King Claude, all hail King Claude. In the final moments, sometimes people will act right, and they will agree to change what they're doing, and I give them another chance. But sometimes people just keep pushing it and keep pushing it, and it's not, and you don't like that. So I've been critiqued about it before, but it is what it is. And everyone is fine to say their opinion about what I do. It's okay. I don't mind the feedback. It's good to have feedback. And yeah, so just a recap about Casey. Now, this channel, including the Garden Lives, are more geared towards adults. Good morning, Roman. They're more geared towards adults, but kids can watch it hypothetically. It's just that, if they participate, they have to follow, guidelines and stuff. Like, people can cuss in here if they want to or whatever. It's, although I'm sure kids like these Garden Lives, they're very interesting. Good morning, Roman. And yeah, so with Casey, what happened was we were watching the flower petal trial. When we were watching a flower petal trial, and before that, Nana and the others were trying to tell him to not go to the trial chat, and that he needed adult supervision. Like, he needed the adults to know, oh, hey, Duke, good to see you. They needed the adults to know that he's there, right? And he didn't seem to do that, and one of them told him, that it's kind of like for adults, and he should just go in the Garden stream. And he said he does not care. And I took away his wrench because he's not going to act stupid around them. Although Saw, you and some others have an ability to deal with mods if you have to. If they get out of hand, because there's a lot of them. But that is something with the cat. I mean, not the cat, with the Casey. He was just being... and then he was trying to negotiate. He said if he gets his wrench back, he'll go to the Garden Live, right? And it's like, I'm not negotiating with these people. It's like, it's either yes or no. It's how it works. And as I said, what's it called? I'm a very nice person, cool person. And I'm, known to be very diplomatic and stuff. But I also can be, when I need to be, would say, throw the hammer down. right? And it doesn't mean people can be unbanned later, hypothetically. It's just that sometimes people need to be blocked or banned at certain points, because sometimes it's like talking to a wall. Yeah, typical kid trying to negotiate, right? But the trial itself was just not geared for the kids, and he needed to listen. Like Lori said, you're convicted, you're convinced. Let's see, yeah, convicted, fair, and strong. You know what's right. Yeah, exactly. And it's like if you tell a kid not to play in the street, they shouldn't play in the street. Right? It's not to be mean to them, it's to tell them what the right thing to do is. So yeah, that's why he was just completely banned. As I said, I've done it before with adults, and sometimes don't ban. There people think should be, but the reason usually why is that at the last they usually go, okay, they'll act cool, and other times people just want to act a fool, and it is what it is. So yeah, I do ban and block people at times, but with trolls, I don't tolerate them at all. They're just stupid. But and that's I have a billion mods on the channel to deal with people that are goofy, and there's also another group of mods that can deal with other mods too. And Lori said, yeah, Lori, I totally think that you use the right word. I just am a little bit not all there right now, so I just want to make sure I was seeing the right word. Like today, I showed myself on the stream, which is fine, but I didn't mean to do that. I showed some page about some trial I was reading about for y'all. So today I've been a little bit loopy. So I just want to make sure I had the word right. You used the right word. Roman's understandable, it's your channel. Yeah. And as I said, people can disagree with me, it's fine, and people could say their opinion about whatever is okay. I believe healthy communication, people could say their opinions about what I do is okay too, as well. But yeah, that is the reason what I do. No one is perfect, I know that, but that is what I believe is right. And Lori said, I know Warriors Alien, it was just a question about word choices. But yeah, the trials are definitely not for kids. It's definitely for more adults. Yeah. But Noah is a kid that watches the channel. And Sauce says, I personally am uncomfortable when kids are in adult chats, in my opinion, like trials. Okay, Saw, thank you for your opinion about that. I do agree. And as I said, these streams, everybody likes these streams. And the channel gets a lot of traction and attention. Some days, we don't always have a lot of viewers. Some days we have 2,000 viewers in here. But people like the channel regardless. So I understand people are going to be attracted to it. But some attributes of the channel are not for young people. And the channel itself is more geared for adults. Oh, Roman, I'll explain to you the situation. Okay, sure. Very good question. There was sometimes kids watch these streams, and they like to talk to a charismatic alien like me that gets all the like I'm like a movie star, right? So they get captivated by me like the adults do. And there was a kid that was on here. There was a kid that was on here, and he liked the Garden stream. And there's a kid named Noah that is a regular that watches Garden Lives, and he's good. He's a good kid, all right? He listens. But this other one, he was Nana, which is one of the main, one of the top mods. Besides, what I mean by top mods is that they're people that I knew for a long time, and I knew, for a while, and so I entrusted them with the channel very closely. And some of you I've recently just gotten to know, so these are people I knew for a longer. And like Saw Girl, I've known her for a long time, and Lori too. So basically, Nana was very protective, and she has grandkids and kids of her own, and a lot of these women in here are mothers. So they were concerned. They wanted him to make sure he had parental guidance, or that the parents or grandparents knew about he was watching the streams, and he just would not really do what he was supposed to do with that. And, giving the legal disclaimer that this is for adults, and it's, and your discretion's advised. And the kid, he seemed like he was troubled, bullied, whatever, right? And I gave him some good advice. And that is something that, he was coming to the trial. So we were watching a trial about the replay of the Rose Petal trial, which is very creepy. It's a murder trial, or a murder trial. And so Carlos, not Carlos, Roman, I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes here, where there is an incident. We're watching the Rose Petal trial, and the kid Casey was on there. He was saying, we're telling him to not go in the chat right now and to go to the Garden Live. That's what the ladies were telling him. And he said he doesn't care. And I took away his wrench because he just wasn't acting right. And then he was saying how, he was saying how if he goes to the Garden Live, will he get his wrench back, and he'll go to the Garden Live if he gets his wrench back, and all this stuff. And I'm not playing games with people, right? If you tell a kid to not play in the street, he needs to not play in the street, right? It's just how it is, right? So I decided, since he was too young for it, I decided to ban him, and he wasn't listening. So the question of the hour, what we were talking about, was not a rogue mod. It was a viewer that was too young, and he would not listen. He could watch the Garden Live streams. It's more PG. But people could cuss on here if they want to, or be adult. It's fine. It's it's an adult place. But still, it's more PG. So, although, it's debatable, as I do like to ban people and block people, it's a hobby of mine. But, and I've been critiqued about it throughout time, and that's fine. People have a right to critique me about it. But anyway, I believe it was the right thing to do. It was for his own safety. It was for, he was too young. I just felt it was the right thing to do. And, no one's going to listen. It's like, I believe, say the ladies will tell him something, and I feel it's my job to enforce what they're saying. Now, there are people that can be, you could say, people could be hypothetically unbanned, or they could be not banned at all if they act cool later on, right? Or say if somebody's given another chance because they seem like they're going to be reasonable, other people are just going to never be reasonable. So it's how it works. So yeah, that was what happened, Roman. We were talking about that. And people can object to what I do or disagree with me. I think it's healthy to do, and I think it's good to have a teamwork and a team of people working together. Iron sharpens iron. It's important to have these type of discussions. So that is my point. All right. Okay, Roman. Glad you're on the same page. I said, Noah is a kid that watches the streams, but he's good and he listens. Oh, thank you, chat. Even people that are critical of me are admirers of mine. Like, people that have criticisms of the spaceship and alien spaceship himself, they will have admiration for me and watch me still. It is people, when they turn me off, they can't. When the people turn me on, they can't turn me off. It's just, even if I do things people disagree with, I still am the magnetic, alien. Carlos says, I think I watch this channel more than any other. I will need to see my YouTube summary at the end of the year. It would be neat to see my YouTube summary at the end of the year. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, Carlos, you contributed a lot to this channel. You've been very generous, and you participate, and memberships and super chats and stuff too. And you do well with the topics in the community. So I'm glad you found us. And we both like the moon, our mutual attraction for the moon. Because, the moon is so fascinating to me, to watch it in its ambient glow like this. Yeah, so, understood, Carlos, yeah. And trials were something that I got into during the DEP time period. And in trial channels, I became like their commander. They're like a celebrity over there. Although now I stream the trials on my own channel, I still go over there and recruit people and bring them over here. But mostly, a lot of the trial chat people, the spaceship's their second home. And I'm glad we were able to accomplish that. We did it. And other parts of YouTube, too, come here. And then we have our phone live fam that came here. So it's been a very interesting ride. So, yeah, I like it. I always like true crime and studying that type of stuff. So it was nice to get into with YouTube. That's awesome, Lori. That is awesome. And Roman said, I love your garden streams, especially since I occasionally get creepy AVPs and growls. Yes, that is true. So chat over in this direction. Right over here, especially around this chair, there's paranormal activity that happens where the chat has heard different groans and things and growls in this region. Like, I've been one time, Odin and I were debating religious stuff right here, and I was like in the moonlight right here, right? And Roman was hearing all kinds of stuff going on. I'm either not paying attention to, or I don't hear for some reason. But if you play it back, it's there. I mean, I've been in this part of the yard before, and specifically over here, right? So this is where the chair is. I've been around right here, and I played back a video, and yeah, there was some gibberish coming from here. Of some kind, yeah. And one time I was in this part, and I thought I heard a trumpet of some kind coming from that way. So this is the mythological part of the yard right here. The actual Allfather, yeah. Well, Odin is, yes, the Allfather Odin. I know, I'm familiar with him. The gods of my ancestors. One of the gods of my ancestors. And he, there's of course, a user on here. And Odinson, and him and I talk about different religious debates. And I mean, we were here until like the sun came up, I think. And we were like zooming in right there. And the sky started to change and everything. It's pretty cool. Yeah, jazz and voodoo. And being haunted. Yeah, the city has a history of that. I'm a voice in chat, and a friend's baby started crying, and I thought it was in the dark on the stream earlier tonight, LMAO. I figured it out quickly, though, and I saw it didn't bring up in chat. Oh, okay. He's in a voice chat, and a friend's baby started crying, and I thought was in the dark on the stream earlier tonight. Hell, LMAO. I figured it out quickly, though, so I didn't bring it up. Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, when the Saints come marching in. Yeah. Oh, you thought it was a skinwalker appearing on the stream. Scared. Yeah, that would have been something else. Yeah, scared. And it reminds me of the Supernatural episode where the blues artist made a deal with the Crossroads demon. Uh-huh, yeah. That's a good point right there. Okay. Did I hear about the mysterious swarg of jellyfish drones that took down the F-18 fighter jet? Absolutely wild claim. It was a swarm. Yeah, yeah, I am not aware of that, but I don't doubt that's what happened. The rescheduled pilot, according to news reports, sustained that the claim. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that, because I do believe those entities are out there, whatever they are, those jellyfish drones. Yeah, and we've seen them do that before in other parts of the world. In the United States, of these things taking out, these drone things taking these orbs taking these drones out, so I wouldn't be surprised if the jellyfish drone's doing the same thing. Oh, Iran. Yeah, there's all kinds of weird things going on with Iran with the war and stuff. So, yeah, yeah, thanks. That's very good to know. There's the Iran Bermuda Triangle. Iran has a Bermuda Triangle in it where there's allegedly an oasis in this place where it's guarded by the jinns. And it's a triangle that no one comes out of. It's very a deadly place. Oh, okay. Scared. Be careful, alien. You might turn into a giant great ape Ozaru if you keep staring at the moon. Yeah, scared. Yes, in Iran, there's a Bermuda Triangle there. It's a desert region that probably the legends go back from when it was Persia, probably before, uh, centuries ago. And there would be, okay, at nighttime and during the early morning, there's these wailing and moaning sounds that people will hear in the deserts. And like the rocks breaking open and the rumbling of the dunes, right? And people thought it was something supernatural. Dragon Ball raised me. Hilarious. So that's what they were in this. It was a haunted desert, and that people would hear that, and they thought there were, jinns and magical things in there that might be bad. And anybody that went into that desert never went the desert of jinn. No one ever went out of it. And people that did allegedly come back from it said that there was an oasis there where they had trees and water, running water, and grasslands, but the jinn were guarding it. And it was sequestered. So it's like a secret dimension that existed inside the center of it. So if it does really exist, the supernatural entities guard the jinn's lair, the layer where the oasis is. And there's allegedly gold and silver and diamonds there. But yeah, so it's called the Ringa Jinn. The Riga Jinn. It's the desert, basically translates roughly to the desert of Jinn. So that's their Iran's Bermuda Triangle. Now, people have gone in there and they didn't find anything and they came back. But yeah, so deserts, the rocks split open and it makes these hissing sounds and they hear moaning from so they thought there was something going on there. So, yeah, I mean, if someone's in the middle of the desert and they're going to see a mirage or of something there, right? That's a logical explanation. But who knows? I mean, we believe in supernatural paranormal things, so maybe there is something weird there. We don't really know, but that's just a weird location that people have disappeared at. There's also the Alaskan Bermuda Triangle where 20,000 people have disappeared. There's the Bermuda Triangle in Nevada, in that region. And there's so many plane crashes that have happened. So these Bermuda Triangle regions, there's lots of crashes or sinkings or people going missing. They're all kind of odd. So that's just something, a fun fact for y'all to know about. Saw Girl, where people claim to hear hell is actually in Russia. In Russia, they dug this very, very deep hole, and they hear these. They put a microphone down there, allegedly, and you could hear the billions of people screaming and moaning in hell. That happened in Siberia. There's another incident, Saw Girl, in the desert, where people have taken videos of the desert, and there is a holes in the desert, and people have heard. I've seen the videos. Have heard moanings and agonizing pain from coming under the earth. So it wasn't just that incident. It was also there's other holes that go inside the earth that people hear like moaning and stuff from. This man said there's a Duke triangle in his living room. Scared. Scared. For those that don't know, a jinn is like a genie. And it's like a ghost or an alien or a fairy or some sort of supernatural thing. It's like from Aladdin, right? From a genie. Yeah. There's videos in Saudi Arabia, not Saudi Arabia, but there's videos in the Middle East of people going into abandoned places and they see jinns. So they look like these dark hooded figures and they start praying and to God about it. And sometimes they appear and they disappear. And other times they disappear as fire. I saw some weird stuff where they looked through a door and they saw these creatures. I'm like, whoa, that's some serious stuff right there. Like, whoa. Yeah. It's like say like this place, right? And say there we see a hooded figure just huddled right there or standing there. That would be like what a jinn would be if we were over in that part of the world. Yeah, I've seen them often, and they're physically beating them up. I was like, this is silly, but the corner of my mind says, what if that's not paid Christ as actor, and it's some demon-possessed Vargant? Yes, I agree with you, Roman. You saw the videos, too. Yeah. They... Yes, I have saw, yes. Yeah, and Roman, I believe that there are demon-possessed people that they're encountering. And they could also be the jinns, too. Disguised as something else. And they could also be demon-possessed, too. In their religion, they have ways of rebuking demons, too. But, yeah, a lot of times they could be the demon-possessed people, or they're people that are jinns or some sort of supernatural entity of some kind. It's not good, though, but there's good and bad ones. You know, but... Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. And it's like... They'll go through and they'll see like Timu Shinjin like over here, right? And they start praying. But yeah, they're, definitely, there's prayers they have to protect themselves from jinn and evil people and the devils and stuff. Oh, look at him. Little bro is still there and he's enjoying himself. Yeah, Roman, I agree. I agree. And the jinns, or at least the ones that we're seeing, are the evil kind. And we would probably call them demonic, in our point of view. But yeah, the jinns that and they're otherworldly. I mean, like, just for instance, like in Aladdin, right? They were blue, blue creatures and stuff. So yeah, they look different than us. It's a different type of species. It's a different type of entity, and especially the evil one's going to look very distorted looking because it's a spirit thing that's made out of fire, right? And they're going to be reflecting what's in the inside, a lot of times. So you are right. They are grotesque looking, like an ogre or like a fairy. Not a fairy, but like an ogre or an orc. It's a supernatural thing. But it's still not good, though, of course, when they're, doing bad things. But there's also good ones. There's good ones and bad ones. But all we see is like the bad ones. So, yeah. They're spiritually unclean. I'm scared. I mean, there's the 1,001 Arabian Nights. I mean, the depictions of these things are crazy. Like, they look like these giant, monstrous things. Like you rub a lamp and the dew comes out of it. Like, there's a couple of different jinns, and there's all kinds of different variations of them. And they're kind of scary looking. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of them are kind of wicked. The ones that we see in these different things. Like the haunted places. And jinns like to haunt those types of regions, like places that are like secluded and things like that. That's what they like to do there. For instance, oh hey Yeshua, good to see you, buddy. For instance, there is the a ghoul, and we know about what ghouls are from our own, Halloween and stuff like that. For instance, this is a ghoul, right? Well, this is technically a witch, but you could say that's a ghoul. But really, what's a ghoul is right here. That's a ghoul. So a ghoul is a scared. A ghoul is a jinn that haunts graveyards at night. And there was this incident of the jinns of they'll like eat people, and there are these grotesque, monstrous things like what you saw, Roman. And the jinn will, it's a type of jinn which is a ghoul. There's one dude that was married to a woman that was weird, and he saw her in a graveyard eating another human with this weirdo, and they realized they were ghouls disguised as people. Just as, in our religion, that Satan can appear as an angel of light, right? So they can be deceptive and appear as something they're not. And yeah, so the ghouls, they haunt the graveyards and things like that. Yes, Roman, correct. Absolutely. And that is true. In Roman, that was the place where the demons dwelled. That's why they had the scapegoat. When it was before the sacrifice of Jesus, they did sacrifices of their own, and they would send people out. They would send a scapegoat out into the desert for the sins of the world. The sins of the people at that time. So yeah, that's where they were. That's where Jesus was tempted. So very true. So yeah, that's where some of these jinn like to dwell, and they dwell in the graveyards at night, and they're really creepy. and they just feed off of these things like vampires. Yeah, they're like zombies. Yeah, they're just these grotesque evil monsters. And I said we would call them demons from our point of view. But apparently, it's according to them, it is a demonic thing, but it's like a type of humanoid thing that exists concurrently with us that can choose to be evil, but it has different magical abilities we don't have. But yeah, it's basically a demon, though, to make it in layman's terms. There's also a Hin, there's an Ifrit, there's John, there's Marids, there's Nas, and Pallas, and of course Shaitan, who is the devil. So those are the variations of them. So I list the different variations of them. Here. Yeah, and ghouls came from them, their mythology. So yeah, that is what was in the Iranian Bermuda Triangle. And that's what's seen in these Middle Eastern countries and stuff. But over here we have ghosts and haunted things, right? So the ghosts and haunted things we have here are what they would call jinns. Yeah. Oh, thanks all. I'm glad you like it. Rowan said, "Oh gosh, now I'm being reminded of those tall, skinny creatures Native Americans called the night crawlers. I believed there were 2 occasions they've got caught on night cameras, and they have no arms, by the way." Yeah, those things are freaky. Yeah, those are like jinns. Yeah, I agree. It does remind me of that too. And, and they just wander around, and it's just this grotesque thing that's there, and it makes us scared. Scared. Oh. And the tree cameras are able to capture certain images, which is good. One was caught on camera in a police complex in New Mexico. Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, so that is really, really scary, Saw, that they were able to catch that. Yeah, and their knees bend backwards and have baby crawlers walking side by side with taller ones. Yeah, it's basically things that distort our reality that we don't quite understand, and it's very disturbing to us. Almost like they're doing it on purpose to freak us out. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Oh, I'm still here, so I was in the. I'll show you where I was. I was over here. I was over here for a second. I went this way. Roman said, I also remember one hiker encountered one of them on a hike, and he mentioned every fiber of his being. An internal instinct yelled out to him that getting near that thing was meant death. Oh yeah, I definitely agree. You know, that's the instincts that we have that tell us that when something's not going right, and we have to not do it. Yeah, definitely. Duke said he'd be face down in the dirt. I'm okay. You are correct. It is the witching hour 1 minute. That's true. Okay, and that's the moon going behind the trees. You see Bigfoot. I see him too. Ah, that's a good eye, Duke. Scared. Yeah, Bigfoot is on the prowl right now. That is true, Duke. That is true. I better get ready. Scared. Scared. Oh, Sauce said, I saw a giant Pomerania pup in your tree earlier. Scared? Oh, you saw that, huh? Oh, I'm glad for the heads up. I will certainly need to keep my eyes and the back of my head open now. I'm going to be attacked by cuteness. Scared. Cuteness is going to devour me. I'm even more scared than ever before. I've seen some crazy-ish, but the craziest was seeing a candle turn on by itself after having a nightmare. Room was completely dark, and I sat up on bed, and as I looked at the kitchen where the candle was. That's very spooky. Yeah, you see, like, there is something paranormal, supernatural that lurks around. Yeah, absolutely. In the kitchen where the camera was. Yeah. Scared. Oh, hey, Abs. It's great to see you. Much love, everyone. Hope all are having a good day. Not staying, but wanted to drop by and say hi and bye. Good to see you all. You're the best boss, be alien. Oh, thank you, Abs. You are definitely greatest survivor that I know, and destroyer. And yeah, well, thank you so much for telling us hi and bye. It's always amazing to see you. Thank you. Sauce said my grandson is moving into his very first apartment on his own. Oh, congratulations to your grandson. Very cool. You know, he's very brilliant. He's a good grandson, and I'm excited for him about it. Yeah, it's very cool. He's attending summer school in college. Okay, understood. I got you. And Ab says, also, I don't know if you heard, but Licha Starch had her trial turned into a mistrial. Absolutely shocked. We love the justice system. Good to see you all. Have a great morning. You have a great morning too, Abs. And thank you for letting us know. I don't think I've been keeping up with that one, so I'm glad that you told us. You know, definitely. Yeah, about I didn't know about that, so I'm glad that we got updated. And that is so cool. Okay, this is going up higher. There will be a moment. Okay. Yeshua says, in my nightmare, all I remember was red, orange, like I was in flames, and the fires of that H place, and I was swearing bad. It was insane. Then the candle lit as soon as I turned my head to the kitchen where the candle was. Yeah, that is spooky. Oh yeah, so that is very, yeah, that's cringe indeed. I've heard the name, but not so much about the case. But yeah, that is very cringe. You know, the child deleters shouldn't be getting away with that. So I agree with you. Yeah, yeah. That I've heard of this case. I was not keeping up with it. Well, okay, thank you. That is so disgusting that she got off the hook. That's horrible. Or whatever was overturned. Yeah, that's very cringe. No one should do anything to children like that at all. I agree, Abs. All child leaders should be euthanized. Yes, definitely. Love you too, Abs, very so much. Blurpus. Krampus. I'm scared. Yeah, and the moon is going to his house. He's going to sleep. Ah, yeah. Yeah, let's go over there and see the crawfish are out. Turn our headlights on. They're everywhere. Everywhere. They're all over me. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks, chat. I need a piano in the garden. Hilarious. Right. I don't see him right now. They're somewhere in there, though. You see right there? Look. It's another hole right there. That's another hole. Yeah, garden, yeah. A foghorn's good, too. My pleasure. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, crawfish volcano. Scared. And we're surrounded by a bunch of trees here. And nature. Let's see. Hey, so we got a lot of dragonflies, but not crawfish. Last remnants of the moon right there. That was pretty cool with the dragonflies. And they're all over me because of the light, and they're on my hand and stuff. That was pretty cool. Mr. Mockingbird's in the distance. Bye, Mr. Moon. Yeah, I remember when one time, a lot of times when I saw crawfish were during the day, actually. That's when I saw them over there. And yeah, they're very cool. They are there. They're just either underground or hiding behind something right now. Good morning, Lisa. I just went into the dragon fly territory. Oh, yes, absolutely, Yeshua. I hopefully do. You're gonna do this like so, and do it like that. Your strawberry moon's very cool. I always like that one. Yeah, so with the sunrise, I mean not the sun, the moon. When the moon rises, it can be very spooky at first. It looks very ambient, especially going through the swamp trees. But over time, as it grows more higher in the sky, it turns more white. So, but yeah, it's like the horizon makes it look very different looking than what it is. And sometimes there's blue moons, sometimes there's strawberry moons. I like the different colors. There's the buck moon, all kinds of different ones. Okay, it's made of cheese, but it is made of a certain type of cheese that is very old to the Milky Way, that isn't really produced anymore. So it's cheese that is not very old cheese from our Milky Way, but it's not mass produced anymore, so we can't get a slice unless we go to the moon. Well, Saul, with my alien connections, I think I could get you some. Yeshua says the full eclipse in 2024 was amazing. Yeah, it was. Definitely. It's a star right there. A train sound is extremely soothing. Yeah, because the moon gives the train tracks give like a nostalgic vibe to it. I always like that about it. Yeah, we're gonna give everybody some lunar cheese for one and all. We'll have a lunar cheese party. A cool thing about the moon's cheese, it glows in the dark. Yeah, so it's really interesting when you have these. There's all kinds of different cheese. Like, a blue cheese was something I thought was kind of odd, but it tasted good to me when I first learned about it. But I liked it, as I tasted over time. Yes, so I will see you in trial. Yes. This stream is almost finished. It pretty much served its purpose. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, Duke, we like to cut the cheese. We take the big cheese from the store, from Whole Foods, and the big round cheese, and we'll chop it up. All right. Yeah, and I will say is that if this stream will be ending, and there's a very good Garden Live, and we'll see you all on the next one. Oh yeah, so that train sound is beautiful. Yeah, I see. I would just be here and just listen to it and walk around, and it gives lots of nostalgia and the atmosphere of the place. Yeah, I love it. I'm glad I could share it with all of you too. Yeah, so I'm glad that y'all also like the trains as well. It's very cool. Okay, so this is see you in the trial, Saw. All right, this stream will be ending now. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, ride the rails. Yes.